Huh? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stewart, and I'm happy to say that I'm a stroke survivor. I've actually been disabled since the age of 19, 3 months after giving birth to my first daughter. Well, about a year after I was actually diagnosed, but I became ill 3 months after giving birth, and I was told that I had rheumatoid arthritis in my jaw and my hands and my feet. And it was quite bad at the time. I was actually kept in hospital for 11.5 months. I couldn't walk for a while, so they sort of taught me how to walk, and they done a lot of things with me. I learnt a lot in that time being in hospital. I learnt a lot about the social model, the medical model, which I'd never heard of. And some of the things in the 70s, what they used to do, they would never do it now or get away with it. But for me, when I first became disabled, I feel that I've been quite positive because I was lucky enough to have a dad who brought up 5 children in the early 70s as a single parent. So when you hear people saying that there's not many men around who do that, you know, it makes me mad because I know that my dad brought up 5 kids, 4 girls, and my brother. And he always says that's why his head went bald. You know, bringing up us 4 girls, it was very hard for him. And but he always said, even when I became disabled, he said to my sibling, treat Barbara just the same. You know, sometimes I'd be trying to open a tin and I'd feel a bit upset because I think, my dad's sitting there, why isn't he helping me? Because he wanted me to be as independent as possible. He always said, things in life, treat people how you want to be treated. Be positive about yourself and never put yourself down, you know. Believe in yourself. And I really, really believe that's what's helped me in my journey as a disabled person. After coming out of the hospital, my daughter was actually in the hospital with me. They wanted to put me into fostering. I wouldn't have it because I was terrified that they might say, oh, she's disabled now. You know, I really believe if I'd have let them take her, I wouldn't have had her now. She's a 38-year-old successful businesswoman now, you know, got her own business and stuff. And I look at her sometimes, I think how hard it must have been for her with her mum being disabled. And sometimes I wonder, how did I change her nappies? I know I used to use my elbows a lot, so like push her across the stairs. It's amazing you do things when you have to, but you don't think you can do it. And when I had my first stroke, I was 36 years old, and it affected my right side. And the doctors kept saying, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to do that. And I was getting more mad. I was a bit like, don't tell me I'm not going to be able to do it. That made me more determined to fight it. I got ulcerated legs. I got bitten in Jamaica by the mosquitoes. They really don't mess about in Jamaica. And they ulcerated my legs, and I had 5 skin grafts on my right leg and 4 on my left leg and some plastic surgery just for mosquito bites because they wouldn't heal. And in 2010 I had a second stroke, and that one I went blind down the side, my eyes were blind, and I lost my hearing. 2 days while I was in hospital, my eyesight came back. I just couldn't wait to get out of hospital because the doctor was getting too excited. No disrespect to the doctors he did, but I felt like I didn't want to be a guinea pig, so I just waited to get out of the hospital. And my hearing came back about 3 months after. It was still a little bit iffy. But what I do now is I go around and I talk to people, young and old, or elderly I should say, to be more PC, about the benefits of, I think it's really important, if you become disabled, that you try and stay positive. Keep active, you know, I do exercise, I can't do much, but you know, if I'm sitting down or I twiddle my fingers or I go out raving so I can get my hands up in the air. You know when they say put your hands in the air like you just don't care? I can't do it, but I try and stretch, you know. It's really important because if you're out and about, you're exercising, you're meeting new people, if you're volunteering or working, it's good for the brain, you know. If I was stuck at home doing nothing. I couldn't cope. It's very important, no matter how bad you feel, to try to get out there. I'm not saying you've got to get out there and do paper, but get out there, do some volunteering. You know, go and meet up with other people in the same situation. When you see other people in the same situation, it helps a lot. I also do benefits. Government's worst nightmare I am. I'm a benefits advisor, voluntary. So I support people with their appeals. I used to work at social when I was 17, long time ago. But I've always kept up the training. So I'm able to support a lot of people, get them taxi cards, blue badges. I just do loads of stuff. And I'm also hate crime. I'm a hate crime champion. So I had an unfortunate incident happen to me, which I won't go into now, but it's because I was disabled, a horrible thing, and I didn't report it. And in Tower Hamlets they had this thing with hate crime when we was given a certain amount of money. So I put myself forward and I spoke about my experience, and it's made a lot of other people go and report when they have a hate crime or what they perceive a hate crime to be. Because a lot of disabled people, especially people who have learning disabilities, I've had people say to me, oh, well, I'm always called fat. I'm used to it, innit? No, it's not good enough. You know, it's not fair. Why should you be called names and have to accept it? With the hate crime, someone can come into my office and report it and just say, look, I feel that I call the police. If they say they don't want the police involved, I don't involve the police. So that's the sort of thing what I do, and that's what I find very positive in my life. And I hope that it's made my kids positive. You know, my granddaughter, she's 13, and I was taking her into work with me from the age of 3 because I think it's very important. A lot of times we forget about the next generation. We all talk amongst each other as disabled people, but we need to let the kids know. Because kids will talk to you. If you have 2 heads, a child might say, why you got 2 heads? After that, they accept you. You know? So if we let the kids know about disability, when they're going to school, when they're in the nursery, to them it will be no big deal when they see somebody who's got 1 leg or somebody who's blind or somebody who talks different or looks different. So that's really important. It's for the 3rd generation. They're the ones that need to carry it on, you know, so that in the future everybody will be treated the same. Now, I'm going to do a poem that I wrote. Now, I wrote this poem. 2 people earlier mentioned about being shoved in the queue. I was in the supermarket one day. There was a big queue behind me. I always go to the disabled bit, you know, where it's got a wheelchair access bit. And I'm so used to it because people look at me and they just think, oh, you know, she looks so cool for whatever normal is. And I'm standing there and I'm picking up the 2, you know, big 2-litre bottles of diet lemonade. Of course, diet had to be. It's got what should be there. And as I'm picking it up, there's people behind me in the queue going, oh, God, wish she'd hurry up, wish she'd hurry up. And I can feel my blood pressure going up, and I'm thinking, keep it down, Barbara. You don't want to have another stroke. Seriously, that's what I think a lot of times when I'm getting young. I don't think other people think that. I do. I think, keep calm, Barbara. You don't want to give yourself a stroke, you know. And people are all in the arm. And in the end, I turned around and I said, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I am a disabled person. I can't go any faster. And the lady at the till who worked there, she looked me up and down, she went, you don't look disabled, you're not even in a wheelchair. Woo! I was like, could I speak to the manager, please? Yeah. Oh, yes. And when the manager came, I asked him if his staff had any training in disability awareness. And he was horrified. You could see his face was raised. I thought, Docker, raise this. But, you know, but it's things like this. And when I got home, I thought, people judge a book by the cover all the time. You know, I've got a taxi card. I used to have a freedom pass. I stopped using the freedom pass because whenever I got on the bus, get on it, and I go, where'd you get this from? And I got so fed up with it, and it's humiliating. And then one day I had enough. I was down at Dawson, and the guy said, I don't know where you got that pass from, but it's not yours. And he told me he's going to call the police. So I said to him, call the police. And I turned around to all the people sitting there. I said, I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if I was you, I'd get off the bus, or you're going to have a long wait, because he's going to call the police. When the police came, I told the police, I said, I'm a disabled person, I'm not lying. And I showed them my hand. But why should I have to show my hand? I do it every week. I get mad with myself. But that's the only way people believe me. I go, look, look. And then they go, oh yeah. And then they talk to me differently. Do you know what I mean? So this is what made me write this poem, because we hear disability, that word, disability. What about the ability? We've all got ability. Some people could do a souffle, it comes out nice and high. Somebody else could make 20 and everyone come out flat. We've all got an ability, and that's really important to remember. Every person has an ability. And the name of this poem is Ability. I'm here to talk about disability. It could happen to you, or you. It happened to me. People are so scared of that word disabled. I guess they don't want to be labelled. Just because my arms and my hands are bent, it does not mean that I don't have any sense. Yes, my neck, it's always stiff. And yes, I do get a bit miffed. And sometimes, when I'm walking really crooked, people can be so, oh damn wicked. You see me? I just smile, because every once in a while, I think about how my life could have been. And I think about all of the things that I have seen. And I know that even though I'm ill, I am lucky still. You see, I embrace my disability. It is there for all the world to see. It's how you feel about yourself. I have good family, friends, and wealth. The wealth is life. Life's good to me. I know I still have ability. Some people really believe that a person who is disabled must be thick, simple, certainly not stable. Never judge a book by the cover, especially when you don't even know one another. If you became disabled today, how do you think you would cope? Would you give up on any hope? Dare I say it, would you even look for a rope? It's time for us to think about the issues that surround disabled people every day. It's time for us to listen to what disabled people have to say, so that one day in the future we will all be treated the same. Never be ashamed of who you are. Life is how you make it. You still will go far. Thank you. I'd just like to say one last thing. My dad, sadly, he passed away a few years ago, but he lived in this country. He came over in 1948, you know, long time ago. He lived there for 40 odd years. And whenever I was in the paper for doing something or whatever, I used to cut it out and send it to him to Jamaica. And then one day we was on the phone, and my dad went to me, Babsy, he used to call me Babsy, he said, do you know what? I'm so proud of all that you've achieved. And I was all choked. I went, oh, thanks, Dad. Oh, it's really nice. And then he went, well, I thought you would have been dead a long time ago because you were so sicky. And that is typical West Indian way. I was always ill from a baby. I had asthma, everything outside of us. But it's the way he said it, you know, it was just magic. He was one in a zillion, and I love my dad. And thank you all.